Hi folks, my name is Rebecca Ross. I'm the Director of Disability Services here at Widener. I wanted to create a short video tutorial on how to utilize testing accommodations here at Widener from beginning to end. Hopefully you only need this a few short times in the beginning, and after that it will feel like clockwork, but until then I hope this tutorial can help you through it if you have any questions. So I want to start off with saying you have accommodations through our office. The fact that you're getting this email means that you have testing accommodations in place, and so I wanted to start the process by saying how you utilize accommodations overall. At the beginning of each semester, you're going to walk into our office and ask for accommodation letters. So we'll have them already made up. There'll be one for each of your professors. You're just going to want to drop by. You don't have to make an appointment. It's a really quick 2 minutes for us just to find the file and print it, and then you'll be good to go. You can hand those out to the professors as you see fit. If you know you're not going to be utilizing accommodations, let's say if you're in a art class and you know you're not going to be taking exams and all you have is testing accommodations, then by all means please feel free to not disclose to that professor if you don't have to. It's up to you. It's entirely your discretion. If you have any class in which you think you might use accommodations, or you definitely do, you're going to want to give them that form sooner rather than later. Professors have seen these forms over and over again, so they're not going to be shocked or surprised by it, but they will want to plan accordingly. So when you go into each class in the beginning of each semester, you're going to want to just let them know, hey, I have these accommodations in place. What do you want to do with it? Some professors will have you test with them. They might find a separate area for you if you have distraction reduced, or make sure that they're available for extended time. If that's the case, then you're good to go. You don't need to use our office or inform us in any way. You can just work with your professor and get your accommodations that way. If they're not available to do that, however, what you might want to do is discuss maybe taking exams here. We have 5 testing rooms upstairs, and students test there remotely. We'll go through what that experience is like a little bit later, but if that's the case, you're going to want to start this process of scheduling with our office so we know to prepare for you and get one of those rooms reserved for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this window smaller in my screen. There we go. And let you know this is what you'll see. If you have testing accommodations, you'll get this video, and you will also get this link. So this link right here will lead you to your exam form. It's a survey. We call it a form because we used to use paper forms, but basically it's just letting us know when you're going to be there and also informing you what our policies are. So once you click into there, it will take you to a survey that looks like this. This is a preview screen, so you'll either see this if you are on your computer or this if you are on your phone. Either way is fine. Doesn't matter what time it is. If it comes up to your front of your forethought at 3 a.m. you can do it at that point, although I hope you're asleep. So what you're going to do is definitely check out our academic integrity policy. We unfortunately have had instances of cheating, so we're pretty rigorous as far as making sure that that doesn't happen. As a graduate of Widener and as you students of Widener, it's part of all of our jobs to make sure that the academics here is respected and that everyone who graduates with a degree knows that they earned that degree and because it's a challenging feat, an endeavor, and an accomplishment. So in order to protect that as an accomplishment, we have to make sure students are not cheating or utilizing any methods that would give them an unfair advantage. So to do that, you will see that we have these rules in place here. The first of which is that we will ask you to check in your phone. I will protect it. I will give you a little key fob so I know exactly which one is yours when you come back downstairs, but it is not an avoidable thing. You need to check in your phones. You also need to check in any smart devices, watches, if you have even earbuds that utilize Bluetooth, anything like that has to stay downstairs. If you have any materials with you in the room, that can be sought as a possible red flag for cheating. So everything stays downstairs, your book bag, anything you can't have in their room with you. Professors will let us know when you're allowed to have open notes or open book, and so if it's not something that's included in the professor's response, we're going to go on the error side of caution and say, no, you can't have it with you. If we find out that you do have something with you after the fact, we will shut the exam down and we will let the professor know what we have seen. Any use of the material could account for a 0. I would say most professors, actually, when we do find something like that, most professors will count it as a 0 for that exam. It depends on the professor's policies. It's not an academic decision that I can make, but it is something that I'm here to kind of help professors as a secondary proctor. We do watch students testing via camera. So you're in a room by yourself. Any kind of obstruction to the camera, so if you put things in front of the camera, that's going to be seen as a red flag. We'll probably just come up and ask you to move it, but if it happens repeatedly, we'll either have somebody sit in the room with you, which they're small rooms, so that's not really comfortable for anybody, or we'll stop the exam and say that there's a red flag and let the professor make the decision as what to do then. Finally, any activity that pulls you out of the room continuously, if you're going to the bathroom a lot, if you're leaving the room, if you're going to the other side of the room where there is no camera, we will do the same thing. We'll first ask you about it, and if things don't change, we'll sit in the room. So we are very serious about making sure that the tests you take here are as rigorous as the tests you would take in the classroom. So those are integrity policies. Going back to the survey, you just have to click that you have read and agree to abide by those rules. And then you also have to read and understand that our hours are limited, so they might not be the same as the hours you have class. If that's the case, if, say, you have an exam that starts at 7 p.m., that is something that happens. Please come to my office and talk to me or our assistant director, and we'll work with your professor as far as what happened. So the options would be in that situation that sometimes professors will have students test earlier. They'll come here and maybe end closer to when the other students are starting, or they will come to the place where the other students are testing at 7 p.m. and the professor will set up alternative options. I would say more commonly, professors work with our office to make sure that there's a time available that they can come in during our office hours. Our office hours are a little bit flexible, so if you have an exam that, say, ends at 5:30 or ends at 6, just let us know before you submit so that we know to plan our lives and know that our families know that we're not coming home on time, and that's completely fine. We'll absolutely do that. If it's very far outside of our hours, you should probably talk to us first and make sure that we can talk to your professor about what options can be made available. But once you have planned that and you know our hours, you just select here, yes, I know and understand. And then the final policy that you're going to be made aware of today is the 5-day policy. So for any exam you're planning on taking here at our office, we ask for 5 days notice. The reason being that we have 5 rooms here. We have some rooms that we use in a pinch, but we're limited. So we want to make sure that we're ready for you, that we have your exam ready. We know what your testing needs are going to be. We know what your professor's expectations are, but most importantly, that we have the space reserved for you. So we ask for 5 days notice. If you're under those 5 days, we might not have that space available. If that is the case, you might not have access to your accommodations. So it's really important that you give us as much notice as possible. When it comes to final weeks, we might actually ask for more time than 5 days. But you just select yes, I have seen this and I agree, and then you just put in your information. So for this, put your name, your course, section, and your professor's name so I know who to contact. And you want to make sure you press yes for this. If you haven't spoken to your professor, you need to stop what you're doing and go do that, because they are asked when we give them their survey if your student has talked to you. And if they haven't, we usually recommend that they stop what they're doing and talk to you as a student. So you're going to want to get ahead of that and talk to them in advance. After that, the only decisions you have to make are about whether or not you're going to do this for one exam or multiple exams. Most professors would prefer that you put in all of your exams for one semester. Some professors prefer you do it one at a time, but they'll let you know when you give them the form if that's their preference. I recommend doing multiple exams just because it's really easy to forget which ones you have submitted and which ones you don't. I have students coming in all the time asking, hey, I'm on the schedule. Completely fine. Feel free to do that, by the way. But if you do them all at one time, you don't have to worry about that anymore because you're on the schedule. So all you do is you put all the dates that you're planning on being here. And then what time you're taking it. And then if it's the same day and time as the rest of your class. Once in a while, you will be testing maybe outside of your time, like if you have a conflict because it's a 7 p.m. exam and you're taking it earlier. If that's the case, then you press no. Or if it isn't, you press yes. The only reason we put that in there is so that your professor's aware when we send them the survey that you're not going to be taking the exam at the same time as the rest of the class. After that, you are done. It should be hopefully pretty simple. After that, we talk to your professors and make sure that you have everything available to you for when the day comes that you have to take these exams. If you have any questions in the meantime, you can always contact our office. My number is 610-499-4179. And then we can also call our main office number, which is 610-499-1266. If you have any questions, you can always walk in during our hours, 8 to 5, just to remind you, and we'll be able to make sure that your questions are answered. If you have any questions, feel free to give me a call or email. My email is rross@widener.edu. But otherwise, I'll see you soon. All right, thanks, guys.